So here's the story. Just bought this car. It's looking good, feeling good, running smooth, driving around with the missus, listening to the praise and worship, having a good time, and next thing you know, boom, the car is just not running right. Doesn't want to accelerate, flashing check engine light. Now keep in mind, I just bought this 2 hours ago. It's a great feeling. But that's the gamble you take when you buy used and cheap. So let's dive into this. So this is my 2009 Toyota Camry with 206,000 miles. I paid $1,000 for it, as is, and when I drove it, it ran great. So I figured for $1,000, you can't go wrong. But I kind of expected something to go wrong, but not this soon, you know? I hope to get a couple more miles on it. So I had the flashing check engine light, limped it home nice and easy. If you have a flashing check engine light, don't drive the vehicle crazy, don't dog it. Definitely could cause some catastrophic damage to your catalytic converters, as you got a cylinder that's not firing and now you're dumping raw fuel into the catalytic converters. Definitely not good and expensive. Plugged in the scanner and we have a misfire on cylinder 3. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into it. So now with 206,000 miles, at this point, we're gonna end up changing all the spark plugs, which it's 4. It's right there, easy. I also noticed that the valve cover is seeping. Well, not seeping, it is leaking pretty decent over here, and I cleaned it up with the old engine cleaner just to make life a little easier when cleaning, and you can see some remnants where it's leaking over there. So we are going to change the valve cover, and I am going to change that coil. If I do deem it to be that coil, I'm just going to change one coil for now because it's still got a lot of work to do for this thing, and kind of want to narrow it in where we're going with this as far as like how deep down the rabbit hole. Now this is going to be my daily driver, and I did get rid of my 2006 Nissan Sentra, which that will be getting picked up in a couple of weeks. Sold that for $3,500, paid $2,300, and was only into it $2,700, just in case you're wondering about that one. So this will be my new daily driver, but just like any vehicle I buy, it's broken and it needs work. So let's get started. Now first things first, we need to take these out. They should be 10 millimeters. Don't want to go crazy, because if you go crazy with the gun, these things will drop in the most impossible place in the engine and you'll never see them again. Now hopefully we don't have to remove this piece over here. And this should kind of just slide up just like so. Now this is our culprit, and as you can see, you know, the clips, these plastic lovely tabs that just break on Toyotas. I mean, I know they break on every vehicle, but I've never had one break like this, like Toyota does. They just all break. And somebody used silicone. Now take a look at this connector. Make sure I don't see silicone in here. I've actually seen that happen where people put it in, gets the pins, and things don't work. Now these coil packs appear to be aftermarket. I don't know. Let's pop this out. And what I'm kind of looking at and going for is, do we have oil in here? Now it has these gasket that goes across for the spark plug tube seals, and if we got oil down there, that could be doing it. It is dry, and these are original. Is that oil? Nope, that's dielectric grease. All right. And this clip is just ready to go. Yep. How about this one? Yep, you're ready to go too. And let's just take you out. Yeah, you're done. I mean, there's like nothing holding that in there. Typically, I have found the zip tie trick, just kind of tie it from here to there. That works pretty good. Some people put it right through there. I'll look at which one to do and decide. Now, it should be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to take out number 2, and we're going to swap the coils. Now, I do know there is the trick, and I've been bitten by this, where you just kind of lift the coil up and hear that arcing from the spark. I've been bitten by that because one time I heard it and I was like, yep, definitely spark plug, check the spark plug, check compression, and then at that point I was convinced that it was the injector. Changed the ejector, still had the issue. Long story short, the coil pack was firing, but it wasn't firing properly or enough voltage. I forget exactly how to explain that. And swapped in the coil pack that was sort of firing to the one that was firing, and then it moved. So even though the coil pack was firing, it was still causing a misfire and internal short or whatever the case may be. So keep that in mind. So we're just gonna move this over. Yeah, and pop this right in here, just like so, and see if our misfire changes. If it changes to number 2, then we know we need a coil pack, considering that these are OEM and I've seen these go bad a bunch of times. In fact, in my Highlander, they went bad and the dealership changed all of them. I mean, before we bought it, and that was verified on the Carfax. Allegedly they did it. Alright, got that in enough there. Make sure these are all in like that. And let's hear a misfire. So as you can probably see, the engine's shaking, so it's still running pretty bad. You don't want to do this for too long because you don't want that raw fuel to kind of mess things up. Now, let's go to our scanner. View diagnostics. 09 Camry. Sure, it's the Camry. So now cylinder 2 is misfiring. Cylinder 4. Cylinder 3, that's just in there because it's a history code, but yeah. Cylinder 2 is misfiring, so that confirms that we have a bad coil, which is awesome because, well, I hate to change an injector. I'd hate to have to get a new engine if there was something like more serious with it. So that's kind of where we're at. We'll have to get 1 coil pack. Ideally, I'd like to get 4, but these are like $60 a piece, and like I said, there's still a lot of work that we need to do on this car. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take out the rest of these coil packs, make sure I mark that before I forget, because, well, you know. That would not be ideal. Maybe just put a B right here. Yep, B for bad. Breaking Bad. And yeah, so we need 1 coil pack. OEM, folks, if you're gonna order it, OEM. Rock Auto has them. They're about $60, and that's just the way to go. If you go aftermarket, like the cheap ones you get at AutoZone Advance, car's not gonna run right. Check engine light won't be on, but you'll run into issues later. So let's take out the spark plugs. Let's take a look at the spark plugs, and I am gonna take apart this valve cover gasket because it is seeping. Somebody changed it at one time, and well, I'm sure they didn't do the right thing. And it's pretty easy. All right, so let's get back at it. Now, all right, so now that we know what coil pack is bad, we'll go ahead, we'll order that. That's our number 3, but we have it in the number 2 slot. Next thing we're gonna do is take out the spark plugs. Because, well, why not? They might be good, they might be bad. But considering this is my personal vehicle, I really want peace of mind as far as like reliability when it's been done. And holy crap, this hose is really hard and very tight. See if we could just, I mean, this hose is gonna have to be replaced, or maybe we could take it out from here and just leave it alone. Yep, that's gonna be a lot easier. All right, we'll leave that alone for now. I might be able to order one, but just in case not, at least we didn't break it. Now these connectors, let's get these all out. Now I did label it It's got to be for bad. And I'll toss that later. Let's just keep going. And there is a tube back here, which also feels extremely hard and like it's never going to come off. Or maybe it might. Well, that hose just broke apart, so that's one piece we'll be ordering. Dang it. Let's take this one out. And I'll kind of free that up a little bit. Well, that's not even tight. That's not tight either. Hopefully the threads are not stripped. And that should be everything. Oh yeah. This thing was never installed correctly. Well, it was never tightened. It's a new gasket, but it's leaking. I was hoping I didn't have to take this out, but I might have to. Alright, there's our prize. So they did change this gasket, but I don't know what they did, because it was leaking here and it was leaking in the back. So they probably didn't clean the surfaces. But that's what we're here to do. Fix it. So all in all, so far that looks pretty good. I mean, the cam lobes look good. I don't see no wear, no pitting. I mean, this looks pretty decent. You could tell they probably went a little extra with the oil, but I'm not seeing sludge or buildup. I'm happy with it. And I'm sure that once I start doing my maintenance and cleaning, I'll get some good miles out of it. Yeah, that valve cover gasket was definitely not sitting properly, because this all oil up in here. That's definitely no bueno. But no oil or anything unusual over here. But the spark plug is definitely worn. These are NGK Iridiums. Same thing on this one. This one's really bad. And the unfortunate thing is, because they put the valve cover gasket on wrong, or didn't seal it properly, or whatever mistake they did, that is what probably shorted out that coil pack. So that's unfortunate, but we can fix it. All right, so need to get this valve cover cleaned up. I mean, it just, yeah, all that stuff is in there. Get this stuff out. I mean, that's something I like to do. But as you can see, engine looks pretty good. And unfortunately, the oil's going down the cylinder. So I think when I put it back together, I'll run it with the old plugs, let those get fouled out, and then I'll put the new plugs in there, and that should be fine. So that seems like that's going to be the plan of attack. So for now, I need to get on the Rock Auto, order some parts, and hopefully in a couple of days, we'll be back, and we'll be able to put this back together and get this thing on the road. All right, folks, so working on a lot of different things. But I know I said we'll be back, we'll have the spark plugs, all that stuff, valve cover gasket, but I took out the valve cover and I went to clean it, and we found this. Yep. And you could kind of see right over there, it's got a hole. It was cracked. Now that I look at it, maybe this thing was on fire at one point. Whoa, we're leaking. So now we need a valve cover. This one is junk. You can see where they try to stuff RTV junk in there to try to seal that, but we're gonna do it right. We're not gonna play those games and save a buck. This is my daily driver. So now we're gonna order the spark plugs and all that stuff and a valve cover. So hopefully in about a week I should have the parts, but like I said in the previous clip, for you guys it'll be 1 second. So parts have come in, particularly the valve cover. Now that I wrap this up, this is the aftermarket one that I got, and for the most part the quality seems okay, but the thing I don't like is the oil cap seems to get stuck and does not come out easy if you tighten it. That's rather unfortunate. Although for the price, I'm not 100% impressed with this. And I mean, what do you get? What do you expect? You get what you paid for. This cost $65. It did come with the valve cover gasket and the PCV hose, which is somewhere around here, which I needed, but that can get annoying. I think what I am going to do is wait. I'm going to a junkyard actually this weekend, and I'll try to see if I could find one at a junkyard. The issue that I do run into the junkyard is that every time I go, they don't have these engines in there, because I guess, you know, people really need them or they sell really well. I don't know what the story is, but if I can't find one at the junkyard, I'll use this one. But if I can't find one at the junkyard, this definitely is going to get returned. But what I can do is pop in the spark plugs. So these are the ones I went with. Original NGK Iridiums. It is the 3764 BKR6EIX-11. So let's pop these things in and at least try to chisel away at this vehicle. Now I've already gone ahead and check the gap on them. Even though these are iridiums, still check the cap. I mean, if something dances around, falls, gets damaged, then yeah, your gap will definitely be off. So still check them. Now this tool is awesome. This is by Gear Wrench. It's their 5/8 spark plug socket. Usually I've always used the one with the rubber and they swell up and well, they don't work. This is a magnet. Works fantastic. And it's also swivel. Now I got this because I had a Ram 1500, and if you know the Hemis and doing the spark plugs, yeah, you definitely gonna need a swivel to get to it. So fantastic tool, and definitely makes the job a lot easier. Mostly for the magnet for this, and you don't have to worry about the swelling, but if you have a vehicle where you need a swivel, this works great too. All right, done. And until I solve my valve cover situation, I'm just gonna put this back over. This is in my garage, it's sealed. This will keep it from dust, debris, and all that stuff. So I don't want to put the other one on, because if I get it dirty, the seller might give me a hard time about it. So we'll keep it clean that way. This valve cover thing has been quite annoying. So let me tell you what I did wrong. I'll admit it, I did wrong. Got onto eBay, first problem. Got a new aftermarket one, and it's junk. First things you can see right over there, yeah, that casting broke. It's supposed to look like that, all shiny and circle. That's broke. That'll be a leak within the valleys or the spark plug tubes. And then this part right over here, yeah. The crazy is that, you know, it was bonded, and then I just slightly picked it up and came right off. Not to mention that I took a straight edge to this, not straight, so that's not good. And if I screw the oil cap in, it gets stuck, and you pretty much got to use like some type of pliers to get it out. So junk, that's going back. But I got this one. So my local junkyard didn't have it, which caused me to drive 2 hours away to another junkyard, and they had it for 19 bucks. And it looks good. Number one, it has no cracks, it has no holes in it, and pretty good. So I kind of cleaned it roughly. I mean, these things, they get dirty. So I need to transfer the other stud, put the PCV valve on, and we can finally get this thing going. So let's start wrapping this up. PCV valve, WVE. And we're just gonna thread that in just like so. Don't know if I have the socket for it. Actually, this might work. So it's a 22, but 7/8 should be fine. Perfect. So we got one stud over here. Let's put this other one in. I guess somebody needed it and they just kind of stripped it. Let's put this on there because I know that's for the wiring harness. And then I got the other ones over here. Man, these things like really wear down. Wow. I wonder what causes that. Heat, oil, man. Cool. So now here's a tidbit of advice. If you go to the pick and pulls, yeah, they charge you for the cap. $19 for this, $5 for the cap. I mean, really? I'll do a separate video on my experiences for the pick and pulls and how not to get scammed by them. So now our Felpro gasket. I think that's the part number right over there, VS50530R or 230809. Either way, the local stores are very proud of this. If you go on Rock Auto, you can get this for like 20 bucks. But if you go to the local parts store, they're going to charge you with taxes and everything almost $40. Well, I think it was $40. But I went to Advance Auto's website and they had a 15% off if you buy it online, so it came out to $30. So folks, plan ahead, and if you can wait, get it online because these places are just, I mean, almost double. All right, now let's go prepare the engine side of things. Now I put this stuff on just to protect it, just until we were ready for this beautiful moment. I'm going to take off this 10 for the alternator. That way I have a little more room to slide this wiring harness out. There we go. Make life a little easier. Yeah, we should be fine. Now if you look where the timing cover meets the cylinder head, I'm gonna put a little dab of RTV. I don't know why you're supposed to do that. I mean, I know why you're supposed to do that, but until I learned about doing it years past that, I've never done it, if it makes sense. I never had a leak, but I guess it's good preventative maintenance. I mean, I get the science behind it, don't get me wrong, but I've never had a leak, and I've never done it for years on vehicles. Now, before we put the valve cover on, there is that PCV hose back there, which was broken. So I got an aftermarket one. It looks a little bit small, so we might have to, you know, fight it for like ever putting it in. So we're gonna start with the Advantage and slob this up with silicone paste. That's probably way too much. See if we can slide this thing over. Which right now, this is not looking promising. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe. Oh, yeah. Silicone paste, you are my favorite. I just got to get this thing in somehow. Man, perfect. That's awesome. All right, we're off to a good start. Just tuck you right over here. This is a little tight over here, so maybe if I take out the stud, it might make things easier. Just long bolts. So now when I took this off the first time, the over valve cover gasket, these were not tight. And that's probably what contributed to that oil leak, which wound up shorting out my coil pack. So those are gonna be the first ones we snug down, but I wanna just get everything in first. Torque spec, 6 foot-pounds, so 6 to 8. So I'm going with 8. That should be fine. All right, perfect. All right, so now that that's done, we got to slide you in. I need to find a clamp for that. So I don't have a clamp for that right now, but luckily it's easy. We could go back later. Same thing, just like the other one. A little, or in this case, a lot of silicone paste. It makes everything slide easy. But I will put a mental note that I need to get myself a clamp. And I probably won't need it. Or maybe I will. Perfect. Yep, that will be perfect. Now time for our coil packs, which kind of took us down this rabbit hole. A little dielectric grease, just very little. This is our new one. Here's your part number. Get in there. 673-1308. Denso OEM, made in Japan. Now later on, I'll probably come back and change these all out, but for now we're just trying to get this thing running, and then we'll perfect it. Now, side note, the pick and pull, they want to charge you $32 for this. Rock Auto, it's $30 for a brand new OEM one. More hoses. Once again, silicone paste to the rescue. Just deglab it up. Gates. This is your part number, 74711368. And from what I gather, I think it slides in this way. Just like so. And this one should slide in that way. Maybe a little too much silicone. It's alright, we can use it for here, because we'll have to put the radiator hose on later. Alright, spark plugs, coil packs, valve cover, and broken hoses, done. Let's put an air filter, put this box on, and wrap this up. So I got a bunch more work to do on this. Got to finish the cooling system, transmission, a whole bunch of other stuff, and there'll be separate videos for that. And then stay tuned, because in the last video, we'll see if all this work was worth it, and if this thing still runs as good as when I bought it. Actually, if it runs better, because we did a lot of repairs and maintenance that was neglected. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to continue to knock this thing out. Hopefully, I should get it done soon.